How's it going? Welcome to a new video. I haven't done one in a while, and it dawned on me today that I hadn't really done any videos. I haven't even done anything to kind of link the last ones till now. But if I can be honest with you, it's because I kind of lost my mojo a little bit. I know there's videos I've been putting out. The last one I put out was my episode 3 of my creator spotlight. But I didn't really have to do a lot for that because I've already got the format locked in for that. Basically, other creators send me their answers to questions I'd already given them, and then I just film myself asking the questions I already know I'm going to ask, with a little bit of preamble at the beginning. Now I've got to the stage where, don't know, I'm just kind of kicking about the house now. I don't have any work to do. Anything I do is really just to try and keep sane or busy or whatever. I don't really, as a freelancer, I've actually literally nothing to do. But this is the first time in a long time that I've kind of felt like, other than being a father and a husband in the house, I've got no real purpose in a creative sense. There's no help there that's initially been put out. I don't qualify for a lot of it, and the last part of the government's rollout plan doesn't hit until June, and by that time HMRC will contact me about taxes and everything that I've paid over the last couple of years to find out if I'm going to qualify for anything. But being paid is only one part of that one, because I'm not actually working, so I'm not actually exercising what it is that I do. And I know there are a lot of people in the same boat. So today's video is about portraiture, and doing a little bit of portraiture whilst in lockdown with a subject that you don't have. I know that sounds a bit cryptic, but it's kind of how it is. A friend of mine online called Andy Green, he runs Spaceman Creative Studios, or Spaceman Pics. I'll put the links for you on Instagram. He's a creator, and he's been doing this thing on Instagram called Netflix and Still. It's a great idea. He's done a few that are based around Vikings and Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad and all those kind of things, because those are things that he was interested in. So I took his idea and I've changed it ever so slightly to, my own wants, and what I'm calling Pause the Fiction, where I take a fictional film, find some interesting scenes, pause them, and then take a photograph of the screen. My thinking behind it is that I'm using a 50mm. I'm using my 6D with a 50mm prime. This is the nifty 51, so the cheaper 1.8, which is a great lens. It's, if you don't have it, you should have it. It's a great lens. I was just sitting at my desk taking photographs of my Mac monitor, which is 27-inch. I would just take a film, pause it on a scene, take a photo. If you're going to take photographs of people in a movie on a screen, there's going to be a depth perception issue there, the size, because the time that it was filmed in reality, however that close-up is, by the time it's translated through the medium of TVs and compression and all that kind of thing, it's not going to look the same. So you have to make sure that you're doing a photo of a punched-in shot. Andy's pretty much done the same in his thinking's probably been the same, and I've done it, except I'm just not doing it as a rolling image. I've wanted to pause it and get as clear an image as I can before I took the shot. And what I found from that is that I was getting the opportunity to take photos, I was getting the opportunity to try something new, and I was challenging myself when it comes to the editing side of it, because, well, you're taking photos of a screen, so there's inherent issues there immediately with your lighting and reflections. So I gave myself a challenge within a challenge, basically, something I've never done before. And this video is about how I did it. It's not a tutorial on how to do it, because I don't think there is actually a way to do this. I think this is just a little bit of fun, and you'll just need to find your own way of doing it. But because I've given it a name, Pause the Fiction, I thought I would make it hashtag Pause the Fiction. Maybe once you've seen this, maybe you could go and take some photographs of a fictional hero or fictional character in fictional world or whatever, and throw it up on Instagram, tag me in it, and then I'll maybe do a sort of follow-up video to this, looking at other people's and how they've adapted what, I know Andy started doing one thing and I started doing a different thing. Maybe you'll come up with your own version of it, maybe add something else to it. I mean, I had an idea in my head, and as I started editing, I started to formulate a plan and a look, because I already have a distinctive look and colour that I'm going for. I'm applying it to these fictional characters that I'm taking photographs on my screen, and then I'm adding something to it to make it look like it wasn't taken on a computer screen. So I thought we'd just run you through those steps and then see how we go from there. Right, so part of the problem here is that to try and find a bit that you want, you're going to have to scroll ever so slowly, press play at the one,
You gotta get him, come on.
Okay, so pausing it whilst they're moving is going to create a bit of motion blur, so you want them as still as possible. That shot is actually okay. But I don't want a photograph of Proxima Midnight. So, press play. A lot of movement. So there's a walk in, and then he stops. Then pause, otherwise you're going to have too much motion on the character. ISO, auto white balance, auto ISO, aperture priority, shooting at 1.8, so aperture fully open. The shutter speed will be selected by the camera. I'll try and take the shot. It's as simple as that. Find the scene that you want of the character in the scene and then pause it. Preferably pause it while they're not moving. And like I say, that way you don't get the motion blur. Because if you know, most of the films are getting, they're getting shot at a low frame rate, where there is that motion blur that's similar to the human eye. So you need to get them in a static position. And heroes are really good for that one, because there is always a pose at some point, whether after landed or before they take off or whatever. There's always a moment where they stop and sort of compose before they move on, which is why I started with that genre. So we'll jump into the computer and see if we can make that image look a little bit better. So here we are, we're at the computer. I've taken all my photos on my TV downstairs. All I really need to do now is take them off of the card, put them into Lightroom, and we'll start the process, and we'll see how it goes from there. Okay, right, cool. We'll import that into Lightroom. And what I like to do then is I'll put it into developer mode and just have a look at those shots as they are. Move along. That one's much the same as the first one. That's a little bit closer in, a little bit closer. That's closer again. Basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just have a look and see, in my opinion, which is the clearer image, which is the sharper image. Obviously I appreciate obviously you'll have to appreciate that I did this rather quickly for the demonstration purposes, but I think actually I'm going to go with this one here. I'm going to just tag that rating to 5. So we're going to start with this picture, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my Raven style straight over the top of it. Now, it's not perfect because I appreciate that when I created the preset, it was for a different photograph, and every time I apply the preset I have to tweak it in order to work for
everything I'm doing. Now in this case, I found yesterday when I was working on these that basically I'm dropping all the highlights and then I'm going to push all the shadows up. Sounds quite counterintuitive, but that's just the way I'm operating just now. I'm also going to change the white balance in here to auto, because my Raven style tends to play on the reds and the oranges, and if there isn't enough and it goes too cool, all skin tones will turn black and white. And if you've not got the mix right, it kind of looks like, you know, it's like you get some sort of skin condition. So if you just warm it up ever so slightly, the skin will remain the same, whilst all the backgrounds and all the other darker colours that I've removed will no longer be there. But you can see a little bit here in the lips with the reds there, but ever so slightly just gone a bit grey. I mean, you could push the warmth up, but I think because of the shadow, you're not really going to see that. And then I just work down through each of the tones, shadows, whites and blacks. Texture, it's about the presence of the subject. So I mean, if I drop the texture out, it smooths it out a little bit and takes away all these lines. I mean, you can still see them if you zoom in. This is the lines from the television. But you've got an option here. If you push the texture, which you can obviously see those lines are coming back, but you drop the clarity, it's just finding a balance between the two. But obviously you don't want the picture to look too much like that kind of oil painting kind of a thing, where it just doesn't look real. But you don't want it too clear that it looks ridiculous. But there's more we can do to this. I quite like that, although that looks quite good. And then I normally just have a little play with the dehaze. I don't know. It's the background as well. You don't want to affect too much of it, but you just, like I say, you want to try and get away the lines that have been created because of the TV. But obviously there's a lot you can't do because it is in fact a TV. I normally take the sharpening right down, and if you use this little square here, you'll just see we are smoothing it out, but it's creating that kind of industrial look. And if you don't pixel peep too much, there won't be too much to see. Now, noise reduction, if you boost the luminance up, I mean, you don't want to put too much detail into it, drop the detail out and just smooth that all out. That's very, very fine maneuver there. And as you can see, those lines not really as visible as they were, which is great. And then just keep on scrolling down. I normally throw in remove the chromatic aberration, just because I get used to doing it in photos, just put them in all. And lastly, I like to put a little bit of vignette around the edge, and it just gives it a little focus where you've got all this sort of blacks going all the way around here. I'm going to crop it also. I'm just going to do it manually rather than set it to anything. Just take it past the crop bar that was in the TV itself, and then bring everything in so it's kind of symmetrical in terms of his shoulders. And you can see, obviously, running straight across his brow. Actually, it doesn't look too bad, actually, compositionally. It's not like he's looking directly at the camera. It's almost as if he's looking slightly over my left shoulder, which is kind of cool. And that's you. That is you pretty much. That's, you know, that's it in terms of how the photo would look. And there's a comparison view for you. That's the photo as it was, and this is the photo as it is. There's quite a I was going to say there's a massive difference, but certainly we've cleaned it up a little bit. We can see a little bit more of the definition of parts of the uniform and the face and the lights and everything that's going on. Now, the next bit is to take this photo and throw it into Photoshop. Now you can right click on here, wherever you want, go to edit in, and then Photoshop 2020. Okay, so there he is, Captain America. Let's zoom out a little bit. There we go. Now the other thing that you're going to require for all of this are overlays. Now I'm aware that not everybody will have these overlays. These are things that I've collected over the years, but they're certainly something that I love playing around with. Floating dust overlays and flare and haze, natural sun overlays. Now this is what I'm going to use to try and tweak the picture to make it look like more like I took it. So first I'm going to start off with a little floating dust overlay, just drag and drop straight onto. I'm going to rotate this counterclockwise and pull all the way over. Now, like I said at the start, this isn't a tutorial on how to, this is just a tutorial on how I do, so I'm not saying what I'm doing is correct. But the overlay, here's the layer here, sitting on top of the background. We want to change it to screen, and it just sits it straight over the top. Hit enter. I quite like that. I don't really have to do too much else to it. The other thing you want to look at here is you want to look at the face. So as you can see on the right side of his face, or the left side of his face, but on the right side as he's looking at us, it's lighter than it is on this side. So you know the light source is coming from his right side or his left side, but the right side on the screen as we're looking at it. So if we're going to add in any light source or any bokeh or any, you know, nice twinkly bits, then it's going to have to go on that side. But it's about finding the right thing that looks good and isn't too overpowering and is going to effectively ruin your picture. Now it's a bit of trial and error, but let's have a go at it and see what we can do. So I've taken one, but it's on the wrong side. As you can see, I was saying it should be on this side. So again, I'm going to have to flip it horizontally, and then we've got the light coming in on that one side. Again, over to the layer and then select screen. Then you've got that strong light coming on in his right side. I think though, the best thing to do there would be to drop it down, the opacity, down about 70%. So there is a strong light source, but not too much that it ruins the shape of your picture. And then what to do is when you want to go back to Lightroom, just hit Command S or save. It'll save it automatically, and then when you trip back on over to Lightroom, it's saved that copy for you. So you've got the copy with, and you've got the copy without. So that was your edit with the color grade before you put any graphics in, and then the one after you've been in Photoshop. And that's it. That's all I did. I was just having a little play around, and it was a bit of fun. It was something new, it was something diverse, something different. I'm probably sure there's somebody else there that knows how to do it, and there's probably somebody watching this who's a whiz with Photoshop and they're probably pulling their hair out and, you know, literally eyeballs coming out their heads and what's this guy all about. And to be honest, I've never professed to be an editor of a level of photography in Lightroom and Photoshop. I've never said it. I've never done it. And any of my work that I have put up, it's all been behind closed doors or behind closed cameras and nobody's ever seen. I just do my own thing. I post it up. People like it. That's all I'm happy about. I like it. If they like it, and that's pretty much it. But I thought this was fun because I've been stuck in the house and I wanted to do something a little bit different. This is what I come up with. So hashtag pause the fiction. That's what this is. Why don't you give it a bash, have it a go in whatever editing software you use. You can find overlays online free. If you can't, hit me up, let me know. I'll give you some of mine. You can have a play around with them, and if it's something that's, you know, people might be into, then I'll make them available on my shop, which I have. I'll put the links in the description. You can buy LUTS and you can buy motion graphics. And when I say buy, they're optional because you can leave a little fee just to say thank you, price of a cup of coffee or whatever, or you can just download them for free and just take them because I'm putting the power in your hands. So anyway, yes, hashtag pause the fiction. That's what we're doing. Have a go at it. Take a photo of your favourite film star, musician, any on-screen talent you want. Get up on the TV. Use a 50mm. Use your camera. Use a different camera. You know, use a different lens. Use whatever you want. Go with it. It's about, you know, it's all about the creativity. It's all about creating something, and it's about pushing the boundaries and trying whatever you want. Hashtag pause the fiction. Tag me on Instagram at mikey.doc.mcmanus. Links in the description. And if I'll do a follow-up video, if I get enough interest and get enough people to do it, I'll do a follow-up, show some photos, and just do, you know, a little bit of a a follow-up to this and see what other people did, because you know what's happening inside my brain is not going to essentially happen in your brain. So anyway, thanks for watching. It's been great to have you here. Sorry that it hasn't been as fluid as it, but you know, as the lockdown continues, I'm finding it harder and harder to do these in terms of managing family life and everything going on about it. But I hope everybody's staying well and staying safe, and I'll see you all on the next video, whatever that is. Head back that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next one. Thanks again, take care.